Hello everyone, Mike Gebhardt at Your Castle Realty and American Liberty Mortgage. Even if you didn't own a home at the time, you probably remember the housing crisis of 2008. That crash impacted the lives of countless people, and many now live with the worry that something like that could happen again. But rest easy, because things are different than they were back then. As one publication, Business Insider, says, though many Americans believe the housing market is at risk of crashing, the economists who study housing market conditions overwhelmingly do not expect a crash in 2024 or beyond. Here's why experts are so confident. For the market and home prices to crash, there would have to be too many houses for sale, but the data doesn't show that's happening. Right now there's an undersupply, not an oversupply like the last time, and that's true even with the inventory growth we've seen this year. To amplify, housing supply comes from three main sources. One, homeowners deciding to sell their homes or existing homes. Two, home construction, which obviously is newly built homes. And three, distressed properties, which are defined as foreclosures or short sales. If we look at those three main sources of inventory, you'll see that today is nothing like 2008. In source number one, homeowners deciding to sell their houses, what we see is although the supply of existing or previously owned homes is up compared to this time last year, it's still low overall. And while this varies by local market, nationally, the current month's supply is well below the norm, and even further below what we saw during the crash. Currently, we only have about 3.7 million units for sale, or about a third of what was available in 2008. So, what does this mean? Simply means there just aren't enough homes available to make values drop. To have a repeat of 2008, there need to be a lot more people selling their houses with very few buyers, and that's not the case at all. With respect to source of inventory number two, or new home construction, well, you might see a lot of new construction going up, and that might make you wonder if home builders are currently overdoing it. Even though new homes make up a larger percentage of the total inventory than the norm currently, there's no need for alarm, and here's why. In 2005, 1.8 million units were built in the U.S. Currently, it's right around 1 million units a year, and this shortfall has been happening for 15 years, since 2008. That's a lot of lost inventory to make up in only 15 years. Builders aren't overbuilding today, and they're barely catching up to past and current demand. A recent article from Bankrate says what's more, builders remember the Great Recession all too well, and they've been cautious about their pace of construction. The result is an ongoing shortage of homes for sale. In the third source of inventory, or distressed properties, which are short sales and foreclosures, we see similar trends. During the housing crisis, there was a flood of foreclosures due to the lending standards that allowed many people to get in a home loan that they couldn't afford. Today, lending standards are much tighter, resulting in more qualified buyers and far fewer foreclosures. The data on distressed housing makes it clear that as lending standards got tighter and buyers became more qualified, the number of foreclosures started to go down. For example, in 2009, there were over 550,000 foreclosures in the U.S. But in 20 and 21, the combination of a moratorium on foreclosures and the forbearance program helped prevent a repeat of the wave of foreclosures we saw when the market crashed. Last year, there were only 50,000 or so foreclosures. What also needs to be understood is that while you may see headlines that foreclosure volume's ticking up, please remember that only compared to recent years, when there were very few foreclosures happened. We're still below the normal level we see in a typical year. And typically they are only about 50 to 70,000 a year right now. What this means for you is that inventory levels aren't anywhere near where they need to be for prices to drop significantly and the housing market to crash. As Forbes explains, it's as already high-priced homes continue trending upward, you may be concerned that we're in a bubble ready to pop. However, the likelihood of a housing market crash remains low for 2024. Mark Fleming, the chief economist at First American, points to the laws of supply and demand as a reason why we aren't headed for a crash. There's just Quote, there's just generally not enough supply. There are more people than housing inventory. It's Economics 101, end quote. And Lawrence Yun, chief economist at the National Association of Realtors, says, quote, we will not have a repeat of the 2008-2012 housing market crash, end quote. There's no risky subprime mortgages that could implode, nor is there a combination of massive oversupply and overproduction of homes. The bottom line is this. The market doesn't have enough available homes for a repeat of the 2008 housing crisis, and there's nothing that suggests that we will change anytime soon. That's why you won't see a downdraft of home prices. And if you're waiting for home prices to drop, you'll be waiting a while. You need a broker that understands the forces that move real estate markets. Someone that not only understands the data, but can explain it. Hit me up at 303-681-7006 or let me know what other videos you want to see. Thanks for watching. Once again, I'm Mike Gebhardt with Your Castle Realty and American Liberty Mortgage. I look forward to speaking with you. Thanks.